AI is changing entire industries, and real estate sales is no different. If you're not using AI in your real estate sales business right now, you're already behind. But it's okay, I'm here to catch you up today. My name is REinvest. I've built 3 six-figure businesses in just 3 years, and they're all still running successfully. I'm here to tell you how to use AI and get started. Whether you're trying to do basic things like write better emails and social media posts, or do due diligence on development deals and have it read through 15-page inspection reports and write emails for you. There are so many applications for AI that you would be foolish not to learn this stuff. So buckle up, we're going to go through a lot. You're going to get a behind-the-scenes look at how I run my businesses and how AI has supercharged them in the last 2 years. 2 things that I absolutely love are helping real estate agents make more money and save time. And today I'm so excited to show you how to do both of these things using AI. So we're going to focus just on ChatGPT. There are so many different AI systems out there, and I use a few of them in my business, but this is probably the simplest to use and the most comprehensive. So the first trick I'm going to show you today is how to use AI to read a big report, pull data from it, and write an email for you. Now the situation was I have a listing that's under contract and we just went through inspections, and the buyers asked my client for $9,500 worth of repairs. Now that was far too much money. I think we got it down to $2,500, hey-o. But I needed to pull out relevant information and show my client, hey, there are some things here that need to be fixed, but we can push back on several other things. So I got an inspection report that was honestly kind of messy. The report itself didn't start until page 7, and it was okay, and it had some items that were highlighted, like physically highlighted. These were the issues that they were mentioning. It also had a couple of different types of inspections with it. It had some quotes for repairs, and honestly just wasn't really in a very logical order. So I needed Chat to compile an email for me. And I told it basically, I want you to write an email with 2 lists, one with the biggest or most important repairs identified in the inspection, and the second will have a bulleted list of the repair with the quote amount. I gave it some verbiage here on things that it should include. To be honest with you, it wasn't really in any type of order. Basically, I gave Chat the instruction and I made it come up with the order for pulling this information. So it did a very good job. The first thing it did was it made that section identifying the issues in the report, and it pulled out relevant information like the 5.3 picoliters in the radon and what the EPA limit was. It gave me a section with repair quotes and the cost for them. And there were some things that I liked about it and some things that I didn't. So I had it rewrite a couple parts and add page numbers to make it a little bit more readable. The good thing about ChatGPT is you don't have to be right with it the first time. You can go back and forth with it and sort of have a conversation to have it add certain things. I also had it, review my client's reply when it came back and write the outline of a rebuttal, we'll say, to kind of go back and forth, and also to present various ideas I had for negotiating the inspection request down. So that's what this whole section is. So this was a chat that kind of evolved in a couple different ways, both from me helping me to create the initial email to my client and helping me with the response from the client. The second trick I'm going to show you today is how I use ChatGPT to evaluate developing on a property that I own or not. So we own a property that is 2 3/4 acres. It's got retail in the front and a lot of land in the back. And we bought it with plans to build 6 industrial garage bays that we're going to rent out to contractors. I was sitting down with my partners and we were trying to decide if that was the best idea or not. And one of my partners said that we should pursue a residential rental. So we ended up going through a whole exercise here with Chat to try to get 2 pieces of information. One is rents for the area, and 2 is kind of the average cost for a building. Now, to be clear, my 2 partners are both general contractors, and I've done a number of renovations and development deals, and I'm very familiar with the modeling side of things, and they're very familiar with the construction side of things. So we have models we can run this stuff through. Instead of thinking, you guys can read the types of things that we wrote here on screen, to have it just go through and give me like a quick and dirty, will this work or not? Spoiler alert, it didn't work, which I kind of knew it wouldn't ahead of time, but it was helpful to be able to walk through this experience with one of my buddies and have him see, hey, here are the numbers behind it, here's why it just won't work. The big issue is in this town, the rents aren't going to be high enough. Then after that, we went and we looked at building the garages that we initially set out for. And it came up with different costs on the low end and the high end. And I said, hey, I want to break out of the costs. Give me a dollar amount and a price per square foot and a percentage of the total cost. So the formatting's not that pretty here. I had to download this into Excel and I made it, look a little bit nicer. But it did exactly what I wanted it to do. It gave me breakdown by trade of material costs, labor, total costs, and price per square foot and all that stuff. So that was extremely helpful. Then we went a little bit deeper with this analysis, and I won't bore you with all the details. I had this break it down even further detail. We looked at it from a rental point of view. I had it pull some data on other rentals for this type of property in similar areas. And I had it build a little financial breakdown for me. And again, I've got models that would do all this stuff, but it'll take me a whole lot longer to kind of sit there and punch in all the numbers versus having chat. This is just like a back of the envelope analysis. That's what, a lot of investors would call this, but it's a back of the envelope analysis with a super smart system that knows a whole lot about development. It's not me just doing papers on a napkin, right? And then what I did last was I had this crazy idea, like, gee, I wonder if we could put commercial solar on this property. So I uploaded the plot plan for the property that we own, and I asked it just that. I said, first off, take a step back, look at the site plan, look at the zoning details, and give me any uses that we could use, and let me know what development constraints exist. Boom, it gave me all this stuff. It gave me the potential highest and best use. Long story short, I'm going to jump to the punchline. I wanted to look at creating solar panels, like a solar farm, and it looked at the plot plan and said you can get a maximum of 2,749 panels for 1.1 megawatts. It's going to cost you between 1.92 mil and 3.02 mil. How much income would it generate? It looked like this guy was going to be a winner. It was going to make us, I think, like 159,000 or something like that. And then we have additional tax benefits that we can get from it, another like 600K. This is a project that we are now pursuing is the long story short. And we don't know, here we go, these are the green benefits that we can earn. And to be clear, I didn't know anything about commercial solar ahead of time, but I was confident enough in ChatGPT's ability to analyze this project because it did really well with the multifamily development situation that I know very well. So this gave me enough faith to say, hey, this could be a winner. Let's look into it in more detail. It's worth me learning and networking and getting to know more about the space. The third trick I'll show you is how to use AI to write better social media captions and YouTube video descriptions for you. Now, if you're like me, you can probably pick out AI write-ups from a mile away. I'm scrolling back through some old ones that are just littered with emojis and just look and sound awful, and they are not me at all. And that's how we started using AI. Then we got smart. We realized that we could program it by giving it actual content of me. What better way to make the system sound like me than to give it a few videos that I had made and the book I wrote. And all of a sudden, you'll see that these write-ups got a lot better, a little less. I mean, these are still kind of goofy. It took some time to dial in. This was going back, probably a year and a half, 2 years. But as it stands now, we're generating a lot of good content, a lot of good things that sound more like me. I still have to go back and review them and make sure that they're not too GPT'd, but it's a lot better to have GPT give me something that's 80 or 90% like me, and then I go back and edit it and make it sound a little bit better. The next thing I'm going to show you is a situation that's not at all related to real estate, but was very instrumental in my life. I was thinking about getting corrective eye surgery, and specifically, it's a procedure called PRK. I had really bad eyes, and they recommended I got this surgery that ends up taking off the outer layer of my cornea and reshaping it, and then the healing process is a little bit longer, but it's a little bit better than LASIK. So long story short, my eyes were bad. I would need this one type of surgery. So I just took a very broad approach at first and said, hey, tell me about PRK. And then it gave me a whole bunch of information. After that, I said, how likely is it that I'll go blind from PRK? I just wanted to get right at the point. And it said, here's how you could get blind. Here's some of the complications. Here's how you minimize risk. And I said, okay, fine, that's not good enough though. Like, give me percentage odds of blindness occurring. And it said less than 0.001%, 1 in 100,000 or lower. And I literally was still not happy with that. I'm like, 1 in 100,000, like it could happen. So then I said, what's the success rate in people's vision getting to the goal of correction? blah, blah, blah. Here are the details of my eyes. I'm -7, -7.5. And it gave me a percentage rate based on my exact situation. It showed me how to increase my odds. Then going a little bit further, I wanted to get clear on what types of issues could happen over time. And I wanted to know how many patients needed correction after PRK of some type and how many years after surgery and when was it likely to happen. And I had it chart a graph for me because I'm very visual. I like to just see things in front of me. The long story short here is that I went through an entire process of talking to chat the way I would talk to a doctor, and it gave me back facts, like actual data that I don't think most doctors could do. Like, I don't know if somebody could just produce this chart for me. And then I later talked to my doctor, by the way, and I verified all these things. We talked about typical regression, how bad could my eyes get, what's the likelihood in standard deviation, give me a graphical representation. Again, like really crazy shit here. I'm gonna be honest with you, I went a little bit overboard, but I don't wanna go blind. I don't wanna get in a situation where I need to just get another surgery in another couple of years. And spoiler alert, I got the surgery, everything's awesome. And chat was a big help in getting me comfortable. The fifth tip I have is use AI to make you a better personnel manager and run your team more efficiently. So we thought about hiring an ISA to make cold calls to sell an online course for us. And the starting point for that is identify what it is you need in a role and create a job description. So I did just that. I asked chat to make me a job description for the ISA role. And this is the very beginning of the chat. And I show you that because the system already knew about me and about what I was hiring for from all the other chats I had. So in my initial request, I didn't say anything about REinvest. I didn't say anything about what our company is, but it had a good idea of who we were already because of all the other conversations that I'd had with it and all the other projects we'd worked on. The system overall did a really good job with writing a good job description for me. So then I went on to say, create a daily work routine for this role and give me expectations and tasks. Then it generated the schedule, which I think overall is good. If you're an agent trying to learn scripting and cold calling, just take a screenshot of this. This is actually some pretty helpful stuff. And I asked it for expectations because I wasn't too sure what metrics to expect as I was interviewing people and asking them, well, how many calls can you make in X number of hours? How many people would you convert, et cetera, et cetera. I had an idea in my head from working with other professionals, but I wanted something based on data from the industry at large, and ChatGPT has that. So this was an extremely helpful way for me to kind of wrap my head around hiring a role that I was unsure of, and it helped me to put the job out there and hire the right person. This final tip I have for you will absolutely make you more money in your real estate sales business. All you have to do is rip this idea off and duplicate it, R&D. So here's the backstory. We have a luxury condo development that we built in Portland, Maine. It's 54 units and we're selling out the last 8 or 9 units. We need to create a seminar that's going to attract new buyers to the market because the market slowed down a little bit and we want to sell out of these things as quickly as we possibly can. Now, a lot of agents do first-time home buyer seminars and things like that, but our buyer for these condos likely aren't first-time home buyers because they're at prices that are approaching about $1 million or so. That said, we have had some first-time home buyers who have purchased in the building. But the point is, if I made a seminar and just advertise it as a first-time home buyer seminar, we're going to get a very narrow segment that does not kind of match our ideal person that we need to attract to try to sell at this building. So we decided along with our broker team that we wanted to have a seminar that answered questions that people may have in the post-NAR settlement world. And this would apply to people that were newer to the real estate buying process or who'd bought homes for years and years and years, but had never done it in the post-NAR settlement world. So we thought, what better way to create this seminar than start by trying to figure out what value we can give to the marketplace. And we wanted to have people come away from that seminar empowered that they could make a decision to get in the market or not, and to buy a condo or not. That wouldn't hurt. So we wanted some clear items of value that people could walk away with. The first thing I had chat make is a list of questions that buyers should ask a realtor in an interview. Write the ideal answer and bullet points of things you would want as a client underneath each question. This gave me a really good list that also became the basis for the presentation itself. Now, to be clear, we did trim this down a little bit, but this was extremely powerful. This became slide by slide what our presentation is, and it also gave us a good handout that we can give to the people that attended the seminar. After that, I said, make me a list of things a buyer can negotiate when buying a property. We are selling condos, so please be sure to add things like negotiating the payment of an HOA fee and anything else that's specific to condos. The document, however, should be about buying both houses and condos, but definitely needs to have a lot of condo tips in it. Because again, it was a seminar about buying in general, not just buying Daymar condos. And overall, I think that chat did a really good job coming up with a list of things that a buyer can negotiate in a purchase of a condo or a home. And here's what that list looks like. So now we had a couple good items of value that we could give away to potential buyers and slap our logo on it, and hopefully it's something they would retain. Now, finally, the final piece of information we wanted to have for people is a document that explains how buyers' agents' commissions is being handled in the post-NAR settlement world. And it really nailed this thing. It gave a very good overview of what changed, how were things before, what are we doing now? How do buyer agents get paid? What are the different methods? What does this mean for you as a buyer? Why would you want to work with a buyer's agent? And what are the next steps for buyers? If you want to learn more about AI or dozens of other topics, we have a free community within Skool. Just go to skool.com and search for REinvest Real Estate. There you'll find a free community that is full of dozens of real estate agents who are willing to help each other. Now, we've got people from all over the US, Australia, the UK, all in there collaborating and sharing their ideas, because we believe that collaboration is more important than competition, and we're all here to help people win. Like I said, there are two things that I absolutely love doing. They are helping real estate agents make more money and work less. And if that's appealing to you in any way, come get involved in Skool, DM me. I'm always happy to help. Me and Elise are here to help agents go from production to legacy, and it is a lot easier to do that as a tribe together than walking that road alone. See you in Skool.